Hello and welcome back to another episode of They Don't Teach This in Law School. I'm Charlie Mann of Law Firm Alchemy and Red Kraken Creative. And my guest today is someone who I've messaged with on Facebook, had maybe the briefest conversations with before, but is someone who from a distance, and this is the joy of having a podcast, is from a distance, really respect what he brings to the table on radio, OTT, a bunch of advertising opportunities that go ignored by firms that are often in the messy middle of that low seven-figure space, and they're looking for good leverage to open up their practice, take what they've been doing and grow that brand even more. And I'm always talking to them like, hey, this is where you're going to start looking for opportunities to expand your marketing. So, we've got the direct response in place, but you need that next growth mechanism farther out into the community. How do you compete even in crowded markets? And I have seen time and time again, one of the guys who's able to accomplish that for law firms is our guest today, Gary Sarner of ROI 360 Plus, the founder of it. Gary, I am so stoked to talk with you, genuinely.
Thank you so much for having me. Remember, we did have that brief interlude at in Boca.
Yes. That was our one chance to actually hang out together. It was in that evening event.
Yes, it was fun.
Oh yeah, it was a blast. And after getting to actually meet you in person, I was like, yeah, I really like Gary. I figured I would, but I really like Gary.
Well, you're one of the 50%.
That's good. Hey, you're doing something right? It's repel and attract.
Exactly. So, thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. So Gary, you of course get the question, what is the one thing they don't teach you in law school?
Well, the interesting thing is I always wanted to be a lawyer, but I didn't make it to law school. But I have 2 of my 4 kids that have graduated law school. And I'm going to give you 2 things that they both said.
Beautiful.
One, you're going to want to hear. The other one, you don't want to hear because everybody else says
it. Gary knows this, but Gary is allowed, folks. Gary is allowed this answer.
So what they don't teach in law school from my 2 kids' perspectives, one boy, one girl, how to be compassionate. And I don't care what type of law somebody's going to go out and practice. You are dealing with people who don't want to make a phone call to a law firm, whether it's personal injury or some other type of law that's being practiced.
Mm-hmm.
Find compassion for the person that took the time to reach out to you. Now, the other thing is they didn't teach them anything about running a law firm. And
yeah,
fortunately, they did go to business school to understand running a business matters,
mm-hmm.
becoming a great lawyer in whatever field you're going to be in law. That takes a lot of steps.
Yeah.
But if they're going to go out on their own, I wanted them to have the foundation that being a business person is as important as being a great, compassionate lawyer. And over time, they will find their ways. And there's a website out there, Sarner and Sarner. It just hasn't.
Interesting. You've been sitting on that domain for a while, huh? Smart.
Yeah,
very smart.
I'm very proud of them.
Yeah, as you should be. I'll let people in on sort of the inside baseball on this. When I have a guest on, I always tell them, hey, the answer when I ask the question, what's one thing they don't teach you in law school? Don't answer running a business. Gary mentioned, well, I got 2 kids who just went through law school and went through business school before that. I was like, Gary, you will be the exception to this rule because we have this unique filter here. Aside from the fact that Gary's also just so darn likable, but we have this filter here now of they've gone through both of those spaces. I'm curious, as you've watched as a father, them pick up the skills of business, pick up the skills of law. What are you thinking about in terms of how they will merge those skills, both as they start their careers, and then, I think it's fairly obvious as they grow their careers, the potential to open their own firm. But right now, combining those skills, what are you seeing for them?
So it's interesting, now that they both have a position at law firms,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that we went over was their onboarding and
Mm.
what were their benefits. How does the 401k work? What funds are available in the 401k? How much can you afford to invest? So you're putting money away early in life and
Mm-hmm.
not later in life. Those are really the only business things that they have to learn right now because their firms don't want that of them, right?
Yeah.
Do legal work.
Yep. It's the first way you get paid. You get paid for what you do. That's step one.
So I'm hoping as they embark upon their investing and understanding of the cycles of the market, the fears that you and I have had, me a lot longer than you, but in the end, history repeats itself
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over. Some things that are amazing, some things that suck.
Yep.
But how you handle it, how you tackle it, and the plan that you have, stick to it unless something major happens, but have the right professional besides you to guide you
Mm.
because we all need that no matter what business we're in.
Yeah. So you had the foresight to say, hey, awesome, you may go to law school. You really should get the business education first. Was that something you had experienced previously, or through your own entrepreneurial journeys, you sort of recognized the value of it and said, I really want you to establish yourself this way?
So it's interesting. I did not finish college. I thought I was going to be in my dad's business forever. He didn't finish college. He didn't go to college. Um, and as I learned through everything I had done at the radio stations, I was fortunate to have business managers within the stations that really helped with a lot of those things. As a salesperson or a sales manager at the
Ah,
level, didn't have to deal with that either. And then open up ROI 360 Plus, and you're like, whoa, there's a lot of shit that goes onto this table.
yeah,
And then hiring employees and understanding what happens with that. So again, you know what? I don't believe they teach all that in business school either.
right, right. School
We
has a lot of
need
gaps, it turns out.
a lot of gaps. So that's where mentors come in.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing who you can be comfortable with to go with some really vulnerable questions, whether you are a business owner or an employee, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
People matter that are in your lives. Not everybody's going to give you the best advice. No different than parenting, right?
yep,
As you became a parent, as I became a parent, we learned that everything our parents did, they really did to the best of their ability.
yes.
One of my favorite lines, which my father imparted on me, as you get older, I will get smarter.
That's really good.
Think about that. How old are your kids?
8 and 11.
Okay, so you are about to embark on the time of your life where you might be the dumbest human being in your state, let alone your house.
Good.
It's not worth the fights. You just go, okay, you'll figure it out. Don't make the big mistakes.
Yeah, yeah, right. And if you do, just call me. We'll figure it out, right?
I
Most
think
problems
that
can be solved.
I think that's the most crucial thing for our children to understand. You may get in trouble, but there are no two people that are going to stand right next to you in the worst time you may ever have. And I pray it doesn't happen,
Mm-hmm.
but they're going to have something that feels catastrophic.
Oh, that's a good word. Feels, yes.
Feels. And the fear of coming home to mom and dad and saying, I fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And where does that really come from? That comes from ego. And they don't even understand that they have ego.
Yep.
We learned it as we got older. Some of us at a younger age, some of us like me, it took into my late 20s to really understand it.
Me too. Me too. I was just talking about this the other day with someone about how I didn't even really figure out who I was, like anchoring as an identity as a human being until I was about 30, because I needed to have that ego be broken. I needed to be wrong really bad in order to figure it out.
I lost my ego per se at about 27,
Mhm.
but I didn't find myself and have my identity and really like who I am till I was 50. Raised great children,
Mhm.
was married twice, two wonderful women, just not the right partnerships for forever. But then,
Yeah.
and only then, did I really take the time to see who the hell I am. What do I want to be? I don't know that I give a shit what other people think because I know I walk into a room of 100, 50 are going to like me, 50 are not. It might just be the damn loud shirts that I wear. I don't know. But what I want is for people to say, he listened, he
Hmm.
cared, and he's a good person. That works for me.
I really love finding people who have that particular. It's already a little bit settled. There's only so much that I can do. I don't need to go and change everyone's mind. I need to be who I am and be present in spaces, and through whatever alchemical process it is, metaphysical or just quite literal, walking through a room, I will find my people, and I will also find the ones who are not my people. And that's okay, because that's part of the process of sorting through it. And at the end of the day, I'm good with that. There are some people who won't like me. There's some people who will like me. I'm trying to do good in the world. And I sort of say, Gary, for me, if I go to bed at night and I say, you know what, if I didn't wake up in the morning, if this is my last night here on earth, do I think I did it right by the people who matter most to me? If the answer is yes, okay, I can die in my sleep. I'll be okay. The answer is no. Well, don't go to sleep. Like, send the text message apologizing for whatever dumb thing I did that day, right? And then I can go to bed. But I always love that perspective.
Have you ever thought, because I'm sure you've been to a funeral or two in your life,
Mm-hmm.
have you ever sat there and thought, what would be said about me?
I don't know that admittedly, I don't know that I've been that explicit in the thought. I have been in spaces where people talk about the idea of what would your eulogy be like? But that to me is a little bit different than really, because that's such a central node of a funeral, right? Like that's the highlight reel. That's not the here's really who he was type of thing. So I don't know that I've gone through that specific filtration. So I assume that's something you have done.
I was at a funeral about 2 months ago
Hmm.
of somebody who has been in and out of my life for almost 40 years. And his son passed away,
Hmm.
who was way too young to go. And to first listen to parents losing a child, as gut wrenching as it is, and nobody should go through that.
Yeah.
I started thinking, yeah, what would my kids say?
Hmm.
I don't know that what my friends and acquaintances and business people think matters as much as what would the kids say in that moment. And you know what the reality is?
Hmm.
No fucking clue.
Yeah. You're right. That is the reality of it.
And not because I don't understand my kids,
Right.
because how will they deal with that moment? And what's said in that moment could be very different than what's said a year, 2, 3, 4 later. I lost my dad 4 years ago.
Hmm.
And I think about him all the time. And the thoughts go up and down about life.
Mm-hmm.
There were the amazing moments. There were some really down moments for me, which
Yeah.
I think is normal.
Yes. Good. And anyone who thinks otherwise, I don't know. My experience with human beings has been it's a lot of ebb and flow. It's a lot of up and down. It's a lot of peaks and valleys.
So it's interesting how as we get older, we look at the world differently.
That shift in perspective for you, have when you were younger, how much interiority did you have? How much introspection did you have compared with where you are now?
Oh God, zero. Look, what I learned is you are a provider,
Mhm.
you are a husband, you are a father, you are a chauffeur.
Yes, we're at
Not
that stage.
necessarily in that order. And we look at today's workforce, the younger kids, the
Hmm.
people coming out, um, they don't have the work ethic we do. I hear all these videos and see all these things that say work life balance.
Hmm.
I'm not a believer in work life balance. As a business owner, I'm available to anybody that we have the privilege to work with, wherever I may be. Are there moments where we're shut down? Sure. But I'm still available.
Right.
As a younger man, I wanted to make sure that my kids had everything.
Hmm.
That meant I missed a lot of things, and I don't regret anything.
Good.
But was I as present as I wanted to be? No. Is it harder to be present for 4 kids at this age? Yes. You know why? They have their own lives.
Yeah.
They're building their lives. Their availability is different. What's the song by Harry Chapin about a father and a son?
Is it, oh my God, I literally play this on the guitar while my dad and I sing it together. I'm not kidding you. Um, oh,
Hold on, I'm taking my phone out.
yeah. Oh, this is driving me absolutely crazy. Cats in the
Cats
Cradle.
in the Cradle.
We got to it at the same time. There we go. Yes. Yes.
And that's a very sad song.
Yes.
It's a very powerful song,
Yes.
which I guess that brings me into who I am and what my career is about. I was in radio for 35 years,
Mm-hmm.
marketing for 40 now. Words matter, whether it be in a song, because you and I could interpret Cats in the Cradle very differently.
Yes.
What we say to one another over the phone versus a text can be interpreted very differently.
Mm-hmm.
Email. I happen to have a client partner for many, many years. And he's always said to me, pick up the fucking phone and finish it versus sending emails or texts.
I love picking the phone is a magic tool.
It really is. You know what the phone is also? It's a radio, it's a TV, it's a streamer, it's a gamer, it's everything versus what a phone was. And you probably had a phone as a teenager.
I was late teenager. Yes. I was just of the generation where I spent a good amount of time, no phone in hand.
To me, you wanted a phone call as a teenager. You wanted to make calls, to communicate, to tell stories, to listen. Today, all we have is immediate gratification or somebody screaming at us, why didn't you get back to me faster?
Yeah.
20 minutes is too slow.
Yeah. I remember the day where it'd be like, hi, Mrs. Sarner, this is Charlie. Is Gary available to talk right now?
My mother would have said, Charlie, you call me Susie. Don't call me Mrs. Sarner. And it's funny because being from New York, moving to the South in 1976, people are very proper in the South.
Mm-hmm.
Make my first friend, show up at the house, get introduced to the mother. Karen, my name is not Karen to you, young man. Hey, what is your name? So I respond to this. It's life is just a bunch of lessons. And the funny part is, I never wanted to be called Mr. Sarner by my kids' friends. Call me Gary. No, I'm not your friend, but that's the name I like to be called. Because what's the one word every human being wants to hear more than anything else?
Their own name, baby.
Bingo. We're pretty easy to figure out.
Yeah. Turns out human beings, like, we're extraordinarily complicated, but there are a lot of universal, doesn't matter who you meet, truths that happen with human beings. One, we all want to hear our own name. Two, we're all a combination of our child, teenage, and adult selves at the same time, trying to figure out which one's going to come to the surface in that moment. there's a ton of universality. And it's funny, as we've been talking, Gary, I've there's so many points where, whether it's compassion or the type of language that we use, or even the idea of, at a funeral, people will, what are people going to say about you? These little jumping off points where I'm like, oh, that could easily be a discussion about a brand, right? It's what people say about, there's so many jumping off points that what I find interesting in the fact that brain goes there is all of it. The fact that there's so many jumping off points says that the development of brand, of who you are, etc., is endemic to being human overall. Now, it's something that professionally you've chosen to pursue, which is, how do we extend beyond just the immediate audience that has worked with you as a law firm? How do we extend that brand deeper into the marketplace? I'm curious, in your experience in working with firm owners, what does that look like? How do you help them go from, I sort of understand who I am, to this is who I can be or maybe need to be on a bigger stage?
So that's really interesting, right? Because a law firm that markets already has an identity that they
Mm-hmm.
are portraying to the general public. A brand that hasn't marketed, a law firm that has no brand, has heard and seen all these other brands out there, and they want to emulate different pieces of each one. Basically, take the top 10% of the 10 brands out there that they know and be that. Well, guess what? That's not who you are.
Hmm.
So, number one, I say be authentic to who you are to tell your story. We are in a profession, as lawyers
Mm-hmm.
like to call it, an industry that non lawyers use the word, where you get to decide first who you want to invite to do business with you. You get to make a decision as to whether you're going to treat the smallest case as equally as you're going to handle the largest case.
Mm.
Yet none of these firms, and we could list 50, have a 10% market share wherever they may be. Because as you build a brand, you will never be all things to all people.
Yes.
And once you realize that, and you become intentional with what you want to do, who you want to speak to, and who you want to invite to come to your firm, it becomes much easier, with one caveat. Law firm owners, business owners, I
Mm-hmm.
don't care what business you're in. Marketing works no matter
Mm-hmm.
what channel you choose to use: radio, TV, billboards, digital, connected TV. It doesn't matter. As long as you have one crucial thing: patience.
Yeah. Yeah. Patience. I usually use the
You
word consistency for it.
Well, consistency
Yeah.
has to happen. You have
Yeah.
to be committed.
Yeah.
You have worked with hundreds of law firms as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when you sit down and you have an initial conversation, whether it's a larger law firm that is doing 8 figures, 9 figures, or it's that baby law firm, and they all say, I want to be like blank, whomever.
Mm.
Awesome. That firm has spent 20, 30, 40 years stepping on the gas,
Yeah.
inviting people to do business with them, and they found patience actually works.
It's the old joke about like the overnight success, right? It's the overnight success after 10 years of working for it, after 20 years of working for it. I just wrote in an upcoming member newsletter about the concept of creating your own luck. Now, the idea here is, preparation and opportunity, but time's a factor. And it's tough because we do see the things that we see the most often are Justin Bieber is an interesting example. He really feels like an overnight success, right? He was kind of plucked out and put on the massive stage by Usher and immediately elevated. And it created that sensation of like, you can be an overnight success. You can go on YouTube, you can have these videos, you can be seen by someone, and all of a sudden you're a massive pop superstar. But of course, the reality behind most of this is most artists are going to work and work and work hard to create their own version of stardom that may be regional, it may be local. There are people who can live in that space without being the quote unquote overnight success. And then there's a lot who will keep after it for 5, 8, 10 years before in their mid 20s. Because like if it's an artist, hopefully a lot of them have been, a musician of sorts, maybe since 10, 12, 15 years of age. But they've been putting in the reps the same way that a basketball player, before they get drafted in the NBA, they didn't all of a sudden become a good player senior year of high school and become a first overall pick the following year. It turns out mom and dad had him on the driveway dribbling over and over and over again. There's a quote about, it's in the book, the new Benjamin Hardy book, the Science of Scaling. It's a book, a musician, Sir Percy something or other, said, in amateur practices until they can do something right, professional practices until they can't do it wrong. And the amount of time and patience you have to not do it wrong. When you look at a massive firm and they say, oh yeah, I'm going to do radio and I'm going to stick it out because others will fade and I will be the only one left.
You familiar with John Wooden?
Oh yeah.
Perfect practice makes perfect.
Yep.
What did he do every first practice with the 15 players that were on the team? They all had to do this every first practice.
I don't know, honestly.
They all sat down and had to take off their shoes and put them back on and tie them. Number one.
Yeah.
This is where John Wooden was brilliant when it came to basketball. His starting 5 in practice played against the other 10 players. So when they got into a game against 5, they were lightning fast. I don't know if you brought up basketball, so I'm assuming you're a basketball fan.
I am basketball aware. It's been a while since my Detroit Pistons, when I followed them in the Grant Hill era, admittedly.
See, and I followed them before then. But in this first week of the NBA season, we are seeing the highest scoring games we have seen in the last 30 years.
It's wild.
It's becoming a run and gun game again. But back to the patience and what they're doing. Today's law firm takes more to build than yesterday's. Even
huge
with
agreement there.
All the amazing technology that's out there, all the AI that's out there, 2 crucial things have to happen for a personal injury law firm to be successful. Number 1, you have to acquire customers.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to skip all the way over. So you have to do great legal work.
Yep.
I hear all too often, and I'm curious to hear what your response is going to be.
Sure.
They look at a month where we acquired 100 cases. That might have been up 20%, it might have been down 20%, but let's use 100 as the baseline.
Yeah.
How could any firm say they had a good or bad month at the end of the month when they have no idea what those case values might actually be?
Got to know the numbers.
90 days after the acquisition of the signed case, we know that law firms are going to have to drop some.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to find some nuggets out there. But then and only then are you able to decipher if those 100 signed cases are going to help make for what was a great month or a shitty month. And the legal work that's done will really be the telltale. So each and every month, we're trying to help every firm acquire as many cases as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Attribution is the hardest thing in the world right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because 95% of all acquisition last touch is still, I can't even say Google, the internet.
Yes. Yes.
It's the internet. It's similar to if you cut your finger, what do you put on it?
A Band-Aid.
Actually, you put a bandage.
Yeah.
We search Google.
Yep.
But we're really searching the internet.
Yeah. Yep.
By God, look at two brands right there that cut through the clutter of everything in life.
Xerox and Kleenex. Those are two other big ones. Yep.
You don't photocopy things, you can Xerox it.
Yep.
You don't get a tissue, you get a Kleenex.
Yep.
Can your law firm be a household name? The reality is probably not.
Right.
And there's a reason for that. 2% of the people this year are going to need a law firm. What percentage of people are going to need a tissue this year?
I appreciate you saying something like that, Gary, because the perspective, like there's a lot of times I remember between about 2007 through 2015, 2016, so many of these suggested business books that were traded around the legal conference circuit and organizations were a lot of books about Silicon Valley startups. And the missing factor in so many of those was the discussion of venture capital. And so you had these organizations that were like, we don't have a product, but we do have $100 million that people have given us. We're building an audience off of it. And there was a lot of advice given in, especially the marketing space, but also in like the culture space, et cetera, that really came from Silicon Valley funny money that didn't have to answer to, hey, what is the profit margin for the owner to actually take home to feed their family when their firm is doing $700,000 a year or even $7 million a year? That context is so important to hear someone. So thank you, Gary, to hear someone say, like, look, there are always going to be lessons that you can learn from Kleenex, that you can learn from Xerox, et cetera. The idea of your name being associated with a concept is real, but it's not everlasting the same way that those brands are. Are you doing marketing at a scale and at a width, breadth that when those issues start to arise for that individual, the odds of them encountering you are raised so significantly that they will be brought into your orbit, or that someone in their circle of influence goes, hey, you know who I keep hearing about? Or, hey, you know who I just saw talking about blank? Says you should reach out to Gary.
I'm going to give you another fun example.
Awesome.
What's the best sneaker in the world?
I mean, most people are going to say Nikes. A great Air Force One.
Okay, you're a pretty well accomplished man. You could afford the finer things in life. Have you ever gone to a podiatrist and had your foot measured so you know what sneaker you should be wearing?
I have not.
And most people, even the top one percenters, have not done that either. So, Nike would be the number one brand mentioned when it comes to a sneaker company. What's the number one computer out there?
Apple, Mac, at least for me.
Okay. But is the Apple Mac the best computer out there? A
I don't
computer
know.
engineer would probably say no.
Correct. Yes. My friends who are like really into computers are like, you're overpaying. And I'm like, I know I am.
And we're willing to do it. So bringing it back to the brand. Now, I'm going to ask you a fun question.
Okay.
You grew up in Detroit?
I bounced around. The core areas would have been Detroit, Texas, Virginia.
Okay. Your formidable years were where?
I'd say Michigan.
Michigan. In the house you grew up in Michigan, do you remember the phone number your parents had in that house?
I don't remember that one. I do. So, okay, we'll go with Virginia. I do know the number that I had in Virginia. So that was where I had my high school years. So it really locked in. I know that number to this day. As a matter of fact, I was somewhere recently. I think it was like I was walking into a grocery store, and my parents have all of the rewards cards. And so I just plug their phone number into various places.
So you remember that today as a grown man with children.
Yeah.
You have how many employees?
Across the two businesses, we're with the writers, we're at 11, 12.
12 people. How many of their phone numbers do you know?
Zero.
Zero. Yet you speak to them at least on a weekly basis, if not a daily basis. And there's at least two that you speak to several times a day. Yet law firms want to continue to market a phone number that nobody will ever care to remember. Why? Human nature does not ask us to do that anymore. Technology has taken us to another place. So if you are doing marketing, and I don't care if it's radio, TV, billboards, your brand is what matters most, not your call to action.
Gary, I got to tell you, there's just so much more that we could go into here. So my hope is you're going to come back for another episode because this has just been an easy and fun discussion and informative so far. And those are the discussions I like to have. So knowing that we're definitely going to have you back for another episode. If people are interested in learning more about you, ROI 360 Plus, and by the way, if you are thinking about OTT, radio, and some of that borderline, we might call it traditional marketing, broader marketing, you should talk with Gary. You really should. I know people who have worked with Gary, who do work with Gary. He's very generous, but also he is an expert on this stuff. So, Gary, if people are interested in talking more with you, how can they find you?
So first, let me say this. As much as I care to help as many businesses as possible through a business relationship, I care to help more people.
Hmm.
So I have had conversations with young lawyers, um, lawyers who have been in business for many, many years. So if you just have questions about marketing, you could reach me via Instagram is the easiest place
Nice to
at
know.
Gary Sarner, Sarner. Gary's pretty self-explanatory. Or at ROI360PLUS. Instant messages. I respond to them. I will follow you back. I will have a phone call with you. I'll do a Zoom. And I still believe in belly to belly. And I fly out to see our partners all the time. If you want to make it in our great legal community, have the right people around you. Be vulnerable.
Hmm.
Don't be
I love it.
negative about everything that's out there. There's a lot of great people out here
Oh,
that
yeah.
want to help, that can help, and that will stand by you side by side through the most excruciating process you could go to, which is building a business.
Yeah.
One thing I say to everybody that signs up to partner with us, your first 90 days are going to suck
Yeah.
unless you get lightning in a bottle.
Right.
And it happens.
Yep. Yep.
Go out there, be in your community, get to know anybody and everybody that you can. Speak to professionals like Charlie, myself, and the the countless number of businesses out there run by true pros that really care about one thing, getting that end user to find the right firm.
Yeah.
Is it yours?
So, Gary, there's a last little 3-part thing that I like to do here. It's quick and easy, but it's one of my favorite questions to ask before we wrap things up, which is, what are you reading, watching, and listening to these days?
Shit. So I'm not a good reader at
That's
all,
okay. I appreciate an honest admission.
but I do have Margarita Eberlein's book here. She sent it to me, so that's probably
Awesome.
what I'll read next.
Perfect.
Second part of the question was,
Watching.
this is fucking bad. Love is Blind.
Yes, you are, Gary.
I'm a sucker for reality TV, and if anybody really cares to know, I want to be on Big Brother in the worst way. I just don't
Oh,
know at almost 60 if I could hang any longer. And what am I listening to? You're going to be shocked to hear this, but I listen to the radio every single day.
the man's
And
a
if I'm
consumer of his own
not,
product.
I listen to legal podcasts. And first, this was such a pleasure to be on with you because you're just such an amazing person.
I appreciate that, Gary.
Following your journey is fun to watch. I
Thank
hope I
you.
get to see you live and in color soon.
Yes.
But for those of you out there who say you don't listen to the radio, you do because it's on in businesses every day. And I challenge you, get in your car and forget about everything and let the music come to you. You might actually discover something new that you might not have heard before.
Turns out. Gary, thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate this conversation. All of its twist turns, esoteric, existential moments in it. This was a genuine delight. It was even better than I hoped it would be. And I really look forward to seeing you again in person, having you back on the show, just continuing the conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Charlie. This was a lot of fun. And, maybe next time I'll ask you questions.
I like it. We will see you all in the next episode of They Don't Teach This in Law School.